The bushfire crisis has exploded on a scale never experienced in this state. Conditions are difficult and overwhelming, and there's a lot to take in. So here's what we know right now. 3 people have been confirmed dead in the past 24 hours. Dozens of properties have been lost. Thousands of people are trapped, evacuated to beaches, many forced onto and into the water. The entire south coast, from Nowra to the Victorian border, is in the grip of the threat, with 8 fires burning at an emergency level. We have reporters across the fire zones and in place for the latest updates and forecast for you tonight. We begin our coverage with Alex Hart at Nowra.
Frightening and fierce, nature's New Year's Eve fire show rages down the south coast. From the water, on the land and from the air. The last day of the decade must have seemed like the end of days.
It's apocalyptic. This is in the middle of the day.
It's like the apocalypse out here. It's that bad.
Properties, homes, memories ablaze. Just how much has been wiped out is unknown.
Trying to save what houses we can. We have numerous houses alive.
Today is turning out to be a horrible day for New South Wales.
This afternoon, confirmation of more tragedy. 2 people killed in Cobargo, believed to be Patrick Solway and his father Robert, trying to protect their home, while there are fears for a 3rd elderly man, possibly a volunteer firefighter, missing near Narooma.
We need to brace ourselves for a considerable number of properties, a considerable number of homes that are likely to have been damaged and or destroyed. These fires have spread faster and further than the modelling and the fire weather predictions suggested they would. It's been a truly awful day. On a day of devastation, the early signs were ominous. Residents waking to a real-life nightmare. This was Bermagui at 9 a.m. As an eerie darkness descended, at Bateman's Bay, the beach, usually filled with summer revellers, became a makeshift evacuation point.
It's unbearable, it's unbelievable. You feel helpless.
Thousands seeking shelter.
We hear a lot of explosions along here every few minutes before, but yeah, real scary.
Staying close to water.
Worst comes to worst, we can jump in there.
Turning Earth into Mars, it really was a scene from another world. In the town centre, the power went out, daylight disappearing from the streetscape.
It just went black, just like that, just the whole sky.
7 News Sydney News Director Jason Morrison is staying with his family in Bateman's Bay and captured the unfolding crisis.
Now it's back on again, and the fire has just whipped up again, and if it crosses this road, it's right into people's backyards.
Then another extraordinary scene as a huge water bomber zoned in on its target. Aircraft unable to be used at their full potential today due to high winds and heavy smoke. Elsewhere, flames lit buildings, entire communities in the line of a fire, wild and temperamental.
Like someone flicked the switch, just turned back on us, and next minute we're running, struggling to breathe.
This might be my last update for a while. This is the Bateman's Bay Evacuation Centre at Hanging Rock.
South Coast residents and holiday makers had been warned of this. Fate would tell if a hose could withstand what was to come.
So we've got about 10 of us in the car.
We're talking about the buildings being impacted, damaged or destroyed, numbering in the dozens across these various fire grounds.
Mid-afternoon feels more like midnight out here, pitch black as the southerly change starts to hit and hit hard, bringing with it new danger as it pushes the huge fire fronts to the north. Bringing with it new potential victims, this a battle on the outskirts of Nowra.
The anxiety of waiting for it to happen has been dreadful. So, you know, the fact that it's now happened, you can get on and deal with what comes of it.
At HMAS Albatross, tankers put out spot fires at the end of the runway. And here, an escape. A car emerges just seconds before huge flames jump the Princes Highway. Despite the escalating crisis, Emergency Services Minister David Elliott won't be told to come home from his overseas holiday.
At the end of the day, the buck stops with me. I'm the Premier.
Down the coast, the danger remains far from over. A long and difficult evening ahead in the battle to save the south.
And Alex Hart is at Nowra Hill on the south coast for us this evening. Alex, good evening. It has been an horrendous day. What are the conditions like there now?
Michael, the conditions where we are have considerably improved over the past hour or so. It's much lighter. The temperature's probably halved as a result of that southerly change coming through. And the wind gusts coming up towards us really just aren't as strong as perhaps was feared, which is great news. So what we've got are RFS crews like this one moving around this area at the moment into where the properties are, dousing any hotspots and putting out any spot fires as they flare up. They've got a couple of days really to try to get on top of things here before the horror conditions return on Saturday. Strong, hot northerly winds and temperatures into the 40s. They're urging residents who have been affected and who have left to be patient, not to try to rush back in to assess the damage to their properties. Wait until it is declared safe to do so. They've also got a huge logistical challenge on their hands, trying to get tourists out before those horror conditions return. And on top of all of that, Michael, we're just learning now from police that telecommunications will be cut tonight between South Nowra and Maruya, which means no internet, no mobile phone coverage, really just adding to the complexity of the challenge for locals and authorities.
Alex Harden-Nowra, thank you for that this evening.